I promise no vice jokes in this video. Hey y'all, I'm James Wright. Welcome back to my shop. We are again working on the saw vise, and this week we're going to actually get most of the saw vise completed, and at least it'll start looking like a saw vise now. This week we're going to be doing the joinery, the pin connections here. It should be a fairly quick in comparison video, but famous last words. So yeah, if you want to follow along with this, I do have plans on my website. I'll leave a link to those down below. You can take a look at that. And I am going into full detail on how to build this thing, so they're a little longer videos, and you can see every step along the process in order to make your own. So I hope you like that, but let's dive in and take a look at the project. Now the next thing we need to do before starting the joinery on this is smooth them all out, because we're not going to get a great chance to do the smoothing on them until afterwards. So I'm just going to take some fine wisps across them. Not really worrying about flattening, I'm just worrying about smoothing. Getting that final surface off of all of the pieces. Getting rid of any coloring, any pencil marks, things like that. Because the next thing we need to do is come through here and actually glue these onto this, and glue that on there. So I'm going to come in with a very finely set smoothing plane and clean down all the surfaces on here, and then put these labels back on. So let me go through and do that, and then I'll come back and show you what I do for the next step. So as you can see, I have one side already done. This is basically what it's going to be, is the angled piece on the top for the jaw, two verticals coming down, and then a stretcher between them. So just these four pieces makes one half of the frame. Now for the first one, I'm going to measure in 6 inches and down a 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to strike that line and cut this angle here. For the second one though, I want them to be the exact same. So I'm going to lay this one on top of here, level these out a little bit. And I'm just going to trace that angle with a marking knife here. That way when these two line up, they will be fairly close to the same. Even though there'll be a 1/2 inch in between these two, they'll still look somewhat around the same angle. Now as you can see on this first one, I messed up and I didn't cut this angle until after doing the assembly, and so now I'm going to have a hard time cleaning this up. I'm going to have to come in with a file and smooth those out. But oops, oh well. So on the next one, I'm actually going to take the time and cut this angle first. So let's take a look at how to do that. Now for this angle, I have the angle running vertically in the vise here. And I'm going to use my tenon saw, as it's mostly running with the grain, but I'm only going to go down a certain distance until I can't cut any farther. I like the tenon saw, I'm comfortable with it, and that's why I'm going to use it for this. But then I'll probably switch over to a Japanese saw to finish the cut. So I've gone down to depth of the tenon saw. I'm going to come in with the Japanese saw. The reason I didn't use this from the beginning is it's a bit slower, and I'm not as comfortable with it, so it's a chance for me to learn. So to clean up this angle, I'm going to do it now because I have easy access to it. And this is actually a fairly simple one. I tried to stay away from the line a little ways so that I can come back to the line. So I have to do a little bit more work back here first. Nice, clean, crisp joint. Do a quick chamfer just to break the edge, and she's good to go. So I'm going to do that on the same thing on the other end, and then come back and start doing the joinery. Now for the joinery, I'm going to be using pins, and in particular I'm going to be using this black walnut dowel. Does black walnut anything special? No. But the end of the grain, and when you oil it up, almost looks like ebony, and it will make a great contrast to the hickory. So you'll have all these black holes in the white surface. Now for the joinery, I want a hole that is fairly tight. I want one that I can start it by hand, but I'm going to require a mallet to pound it all the way down in. So I want a good, nice, tight hole that this fills it out completely. And so that's where I'm going to test my holes and actually drill it with several different bits until I find the one that gives me the closest size. Now these are all 3/8 bits, but they're all slightly different. So you can use some calipers and judge it back and forth. But what I say is just drill a bunch of holes until you find one that's a really nice tight fit that requires a mallet to pound it back and forth. So now we can go on to the joinery now that we know this is the bit that I want to use. Before doing any of the joinery, I actually want to cut all of the dowels I want to use, and I want them to all be about 2 inches or so. So I'm just going to put them on here at the bench hook and cut them off. I don't care what length they are because I'm going to flush cut them off once they're in, but for right now I'm just going to go in here and cut them at about that long. cut 3 per joint, except for on the stretcher I'm only going to put on 2. Now it's time for the joinery, and so I'm going to put the glue on the tenon. I'm not going to put it on the main surface of the other piece because I don't know exactly where that is, but I do know exactly where it is on the tenon. So I'm just going to spread around, not being terribly careful, because once I put pressure on this with the clamp, shouldn't make any difference at all. And this joint is going to be under compression whenever it's in use, so it's not a very stressed joint, and being held with the pins, it's actually a really, really solid joint. So for clamping this up, I'm actually going to use the vise, and makes it a little bit easier for adjustment. I'm going to just temporarily set them in here, and I have marks on this board according to my plans for where they should be in theory. And in theory and in reality are two very different things. And what I can do is put the stretcher in here and know for sure that that is exactly where it needs to be, because I know this is the measurement that matters. So I put the stretcher in here and then slide the stretcher up here, and I have a little bit of slop up here, so that means that these two need to be pushed together just a little bit. So when I slide this up, there is no more slop. But what I want to actually do is line them up down here first, push them tight against their shoulder. Once I get them really close, I'm going to clamp it down here, bring the stretcher up in here, and make sure I don't have any slop. Got a little bit, just got to clamp that out. And there we go. So now I have a nice clean fit top to bottom. For ease of function, I'm going to slide the stretcher up here. I don't care where it's at right now, I'm just going to clamp it in place just to keep this top from moving around on me. Now that that's all clamped in place, I'm going to come in here and just arbitrarily pick a point. Now if I really wanted to make these really impressive and nice and perfect, I could come in and mark out precisely where they need to be. But I'm not going to care about that. I'm going to come down about an inch, I'm going to come in about an inch, and I'm going to bore through. I'm putting my hand on the back side, so I'm feeling for when that lead screw pops out the other side. And as soon as I feel it, I'm going to stop, back it up, bore the second one. On this one, I accidentally blew out, and you can see the chip here where it came out. Oh well, that one's going to look a little bit cruddy, but at least it's on the inside of the vise where not many people are going to see it. So now I can put that lead screw into the hole that just popped through from the other side. The nice thing about these ratcheting heads is I'm right up against the bench here, and I want to be able to drill in, so I can actually use this ratcheting head to bore in from this side. Until you go through like that. There I have a really nice clean hole that comes through from both sides. So now we're ready to glue this up and drive some pins in. So now we can put in a bit of glue. Grab one of those pegs, wiggle it into place, tap it in. Now that we have all the pins in here, I can come in with a flush cut saw and trim these off. Most of these I can come back in and clean them up with a plane. The flush cut saw just allows it to come closer. I really like this one with the extra flexible blade. Hold it in place a little bit easier, as long as you get started right. So now it's time to put on the stretcher. Make sure you put it on the right side. You don't want it on the inside of the vise where the same side the jaw is on. You want it on the outside. That way this stretcher will be what eventually will sit on the bench top. And so I put some marks on there on the side at the exact distance up from the jaw, so that it is the same on both. And on mine I have it up 13 inches from the jaw to the bench top, or where the top of the stretcher in this case, or the bottom of the stretcher in the end. That way it sits up about this height, so I can work at a comfortable height to me. I just want to make sure that the stretcher is the same height on both of them. So now I have marks on these at the height that they need to go at. We can glue them in, hold them in place, and then drive pins in them just like we did before. So I apply some glue. Then I'm going to use a couple squeeze clamps just to temporarily hold them where I want them to be on those lines. And with those in, now I can drill in holes. And I'm just going to put in 2 holes in these. No reason to go terribly overkill. Just 2 makes it so they don't wiggle around as much. So now that the glue has dried, I pulled it out, I've flush cut these off. I can just come in with a plane here and whittle them down. I'm taking a very thin, light slice until I get down to the surface. Get rid of all the excess glue and get a really nice clean cut from one end to the other. There we go. Now that's nice and smooth, ready to attach some cork to it. So there we have it, saw vise basically. This is maybe a simple step, and most of the steps in this are going to be very simple. It's just you take things, we break them down, and you make them into smaller steps, and most things will become simple. And I'm really looking forward to putting the oil on these and seeing these pins pop. That's going to be the kind of the touch piece of this and making it look a little bit more special. So next week we're going to be putting in the spacer blocks and putting in the cork. So next week we're going to be putting in the spacer blocks, putting in the cork, and basically making it a saw vise from that point on. Everything after that is going to be things that make it a little easier, like the screws that clamp it up here, and other things that make it just a little bit simpler and easier to use. So we're coming down the home stretch, and soon we will have a functioning saw vise. If you'd like to see the plans for this, I do have a link for those on my website. I'll leave a link to that down below. Also, if you want to follow along all of the videos in the series, I'll have a link to all of that as well. I do want to say thank you to all the patrons. You guys are the reason why I can keep putting out videos like this. If you like this information and would like to help out, you can find out more about Patreon. I'll leave a link to that down below. And also, if you want to subscribe and see some behind-the-scenes footage, you can do that as well. That's about it for today. And until next time, have a wonderful day.